It is time for some movement in the heavyweight division. And everyone knows that the big guys haven't been mixing it up. So we look forward to whenever we can get the big stakes. And coming up soon, a lot will be at stake for the big stakes as we look ahead to one of our young ones coming into the heavyweight division and looking to make his big splash, headlining a card of his own in his hometown of Toledo, will be Jared Big Baby Anderson, as it was announced earlier today. And I had a feeling that the announcement was coming today, May 2nd. So I was already prepared to do this video. And we're gonna talk about Big Baby and what's on the horizon for him as we look forward to his heavyweight hometown headlining card. Let's talk about it. Heavyweights, the big ones, we get a chance to really see what's gonna be what coming up very soon as the real Big Baby, Jared Anderson, as they touting him the knockout artist at heavyweight. He's gonna be taking on someone by the name of Kasobuski from Kazakhstan, a heavyweight from Kazakhstan, Saturday, July 1st, from the Huntington Center in Toledo, Ohio. I had been talking about we need to see Big Baby step up in there against someone that is going to challenge him in ways that, again, it's not that I want to see him get defeated. I want to see him get tested. This may be round one of a test, because this fight is something that nobody really knows a lot about, this particular opponent. So let's talk about him. Zhan Kasobuski from Kazakhstan is a young fighter. And I say young because he's still young enough to be a son of mine, but he's only 34 years old, and he's had extensive amateur fights and has been a homegrown talent where he has traditional old school strength at heavyweight. When you see this man, he's sizable. He's like 6'3", 240 pounds, but it's all solid. It's not flabby. It's not fat. He's a solid guy, farm raised. And that's exactly what Jared Anderson needs, because he needs the type of an opponent that's going to challenge him, someone who's not just going to lay down. And according to Boxing News 24, which the article description will be in the box, by Jim Kalfa, it states, unbeaten, Jared Anderson fights Zhan Kasobuski in the main event, while the hard-hitting contender Arslanbek Makhmudov takes on Rafael Akpajori in the chief support bout in a dual heavyweight card on July 1st at the Huntington Center in Toledo, Ohio. For Top Rank to put Jared in the main event so quickly in his career on ESPN suggests that they're giving him the express trip to the top, hoping to turn him into a household name and make him a star overnight. Promoter Bob Arum predicts that Anderson will become one of the world's heavyweight champions. We'll see eventually if that turns out to be the case. At 6'4", Anderson is on the small side to be a champion, and he's not overly powerful or fast. What he does have on his side is youth, so he can wait around until guys like Tyson Fury, Anthony Joshua, and Alexander Usyk all retire. The card will begin at 10 p.m. Eastern Time on ESPN and ESPN Deportes and ESPN Plus. Anderson versus Kasobuski is scheduled for 10 rounds, but it probably won't last that long. You have to assume that Kasobuski has been well vetted by Top Rank and deemed a non-threat to Jarrett. Or it could be a case of, if Jarrett isn't up to snuff, this is my personal opinion, that Kasobuski could pull off an upset, if that be the case. But let's just think about it. Anderson, who's bringing in his record of 14-0 with 14 KOs, is 6'4" and has a 78.5-inch reach. He is like a big middleweight in the heavyweight division. And though he doesn't seem to have that one-punch knockout power, think about it like this. He's only 23 years old. So there's still some home cooking to be done, and that cake may not be ready yet as far as physicality. But the rumors about him abound because he has held his own in the gyms across the Americas and even across the pond against top name talents and champions. So I expect Anderson to put on a very good show, especially in his hometown, especially against a guy who could stand up. Now, when we look at Kasobuski, he's coming in again with his record of 19-0 and 18 KOs. And after watching footage of him, he really seems to be the type of fighter that's a plotter. He works his way to close to mid-range and get close to the inside so he can really bang away with hooks to the body, followed by hooks to the head. He's not an outstanding boxer by any means. He does know how to move and knows his foot placement in the ring. But that and saying great footwork are two different things. Now, Anderson, who is a little bit more lithe and lean on his feet and everything, and who has hand speed, and if you ask me, he has dog in him, and he will try to challenge his opponents. And so, therefore, if Zahn comes into this fight and wants to prove his mettle, that's going to be a dangerous place for him, because Anderson will not back down, especially in his hometown. He puts his punches together exceptionally well, and he knows how to work the body and come up to the head in combinations. So this will become one of those fights, hopefully, that Jarrett is tested and giving more than just 3 to 4 rounds minimum. It's scheduled for 10. I'd like to see it go into the 8th, 9th, even 10th round. I want to see what happens when fatigue begins to settle in on these gentlemen. I want to see what happens when they're asked questions, both of them, that they haven't been asked before. In a heavyweight bout, all it takes is one shot, really, to put a guy on the canvas. And if either of these men go on the canvas, I think it'll be a first for either guy. So to be able to see these two men compete and give their all, it's what we're going to tune in for. But it has to be said, Top Rank may have saw something in Zahn Kasobuski that will be something that Jarrett can deal with. I hope that this is not just one of those fighters that's been groomed on the other side and put in setup type matches until he's presented over here and then he falls all apart. I hope that is not the case, because Jared Anderson deserves more than that. He deserves someone in there to try to challenge him a bit so that he may grow. It is going to be a long road for him because he's so young, and there's still quality veterans at the top of the sport that are trying to iron out their differences to see what happens with those championship belts. So with Anderson being 23, he does have time. It's no longer time just to watch him knock people out. It's time for him to get the seasoning of going rounds and having someone be able to stand up to him somewhat and offer back some kind of resistance. We want to see him use his mind in the ring and not just be physical. We want to see him use the tools that have looked stellar in spots, like using his jab. We know he throws punches in combination. If he has to move around the ring a little bit and to give angles and to reset and do something a little bit different, to make an adjustment here or there, those are the type of qualities that you want to see in a fighter that's working on becoming a complete fighter. But Zhan Kasobuski can say something about that. He can put all of that to the side. From the clips that I've been able to watch of him, he is a very, very strong body puncher. And when guys work the body, they can wear you down. That doesn't mean that Jared Anderson can't take body shots. But what this means is that there may be something coming back at him on the other end that will deplete and cause him to use his mind a little more. He can't get mad and rail back just because the guy hit him a good shot and wants to get it all back at once. He has to show discipline. He has to show resolve. He has to show the ability to think about what he's doing in there. And this is the type of fight, hopefully, that we get all of that from him. I'm excited anytime the young heavyweights can get in there and mix it up, because there's always some action happening in a heavyweight fight. When these men come together, put their blows together, the crowd oohs and ahs and gasps because it's big men out there letting the fist fly. One more thing about Kasobuski. He's being held as the heavyweight Triple G. Now, we do know what happened once Triple G got to a certain point in his career and the opportunity to face certain types of challenges were placed on the table for him, and he elected not to do that. So, will that be the case in this instance for Zhan? It's time now. Do or die, as they say. And all he has to do is show up and try to show out. But it'll be Jared Anderson's party. And is he there to turn the party out? Or is Jared going to be there to put him out? It's going to be interesting. But what do you think? This is Stormy B-Man. Shout out to the mighty LDBC and Liberated Perspective, a third eye view of the world. For more content such as this, please like, comment, subscribe, and share. Are you excited to see Big Baby Anderson get in there and get his pound of flesh and do something against someone who's going to offer up some resistance? Let's talk about it. Peace to everyone out there, and everyone please remain safe.